Bonjour. You see this? This is the way you say bonjour in the original dialect of Guernsey, okay? So, comment va l'affaire va? Wow. We will start our journey to 100. And you know, some media may advertise how to become centenarian. And what they propose is to do it in 4 weeks. It's crazy. Nevertheless, to become centenarian, it takes 1 century. It's a long, long way, this journey, okay? Discovering the secret of the centenarian, I was skilled as astrophysicist. My first job was astrophysicist. Can you imagine to look in the star? But then I was progressively interested in the oldest old in the village. And in 1992, a medical doctor, a family doctor, came at home and gave me a list of Belgium centenarian. And I started to be interested in longevity. And that was the story. And I travel all around the world to see centenarian. And look what I found there. Look, Louis, he's still having 2 pipes per day. A very nice person, huh? Look, Irita, smiling in a nursing home in Okinawa. Look, Vasilios in Creta. He was drinking raki, so drinking a lot, okay? And Faustino was going to the market every Saturday morning in Nicoya. And very early in the morning, at 5 in the morning, he was leaving home and going to the market. Antonio, that was a wonderful person. He was the oldest man at that time in Sardinia. And the smell was like a baby, I remember. He was smelling like a baby. Juan, he was from Menorca. And he was signing for me this autograph and looking TV and so on. He was really wonderful. He died at 114. And Kamato Ongo from Kagoshima, south of Japan. I bring her some Belgian chocolates, you see? And I never received any money from Côte d'Or from Belgium to be a sponsor. I'm still waiting for money from them. And Emma, the oldest person on earth, she was a very nice person because she ate 2 raw eggs every morning and crude meat and so on. So all what is not really Mediterranean diet. And she died at 117. But you see, her medical doctor, family doctor, was the most important person in her life. Now, just a few words about how it started with Blue Zone, because it's very important to know how it started. So, the situation is the following one. I was dealing with centenarian. And we were in a meeting in Montpellier in 1999, so already 18 years ago. And somebody from Sardinia arrived and said, in Sardinia, in the mountain, there are a lot of people living longer. And the same number of men and women, what is amazing. Usually, women are surviving longer. And every demographer around the room there say, this is not true. They are exaggerating their age. All men in this island are pushing their age, like there are in the Caucasus people who are 142, or in India 147, and so on. They do the same in Sardinia. So I was invited to go there to check. And I checked all centenarian, and after 3 months in 2000, I was convinced that each of them was really 100. That was already one big shot. And I should finish my work at that time. No, I say, this is only the beginning. And look what, it was individual longevity, which means 1 by 1, 1 centenarian there, 1 centenarian there. And then I switch to population longevity, what is fully different. Look, I will show you, from individual longevity, you may learn a lot. But from population longevity, when the whole population is living longer, that's wonderful. Look, this is the prevalence of centenarian in a country. On the left, you have a low prevalence, and on the right, you have a high prevalence. And if you go in the next slide, you have a random distribution of centenarian on the left, and you have a non-random with a cluster on the right. That's the starting point. I was going from village to village, and what was amazing is that if there were a centenarian in one village, in the next one there was also one. And. Then I took a map, because this is all the centenarians that were reported in Sardinia in the survey. This is the ACEA survey, and these are all the centenarians. I say, okay, but what is important for me? I took a blue pencil, a blue pen. You see, this is there. And what I did the following. Wait, it should come there. Ah, it's there. And the blue zone started. Just because I have a blue pen. Can you imagine if at that time it was a red pen? It will be the red zone. Wow. It will not be successful. The blue zone, the blue is so wonderful. I like blue, okay? So this is the reason. So this is the blue zone of Sardinia, hidden in the mountain, and that's why nowadays we are talking about blue zone. That was 2000. It took me a lot of energy to demonstrate to my colleagues, scientists, that it's true, because they don't believe it. It took 15 years to the most suspicious. But this is because of this most suspicious came with me to Guernsey 6 weeks ago that I am here in front of you today. Okay, he's my best supporter today. So the blue zone, what is it? Is an area that is homogeneous. This is limited in space. They have a common lifestyle. They have the same environment, and they live longer. And it's proof, because it's very important to go in the register to check if everybody has effectively 100, because there are so many mistakes on this point. What is very good in this case is these people there in this area are born in the same location. So they have early life conditions that are similar. The second point, they have the same genetic pool. They are the same story. They have married between themselves. They have also the same tradition, the same food, the same water, the same air. So you are really in an area where the condition to do scientific research is the best, because everybody shares the same story, and that's very important for the scientific research. These are the 4 blue zones around the world. To do this, I cooperate with Dan Buettner, a journalist from National Geographic, and he is always asking me, Michel, do you have a new blue zone? So I discovered Costa Rica, Nicoya. That was in 2007. Then I was planning to go to Ecuador, but I did not find all the data that were needed to prove that there is an area, a blue zone in Ecuador. But I told him there is probably an island in Greece. And then I took all the data and I discovered Ikaria, a very hidden, a lost island. And this is Ikaria. And for sure, Okinawa is a traditional longevity area. These are the 4 and we are working on the next one. So we will see what will happen in future, but we need strong data to prove that they are longevity area. That's very important. I will never go, for example, we are working now on Cuba. If I go to the US and I say Cuba is better than you in terms of life expectancy, everything, I need really strong data to prove it. Okay, you understand me very well. What are the lessons of the blue zone? That's the story. I will go quite quick because I have a very strict schedule. The first one is genetics. Okay, but hopefully we did not find any longevity genes. Can you imagine if in the audience I may say you and you have genes, but you don't have it. And if you don't have it, you go directly to the cemetery earlier. Okay. It will be too deterministic. It will be problematic. You have it or you don't have it. So there was a lot of geneticians that were working to find these genes. Hopefully they did not find anything. Okay, that's the first result. But epigenetics, this is more important. What is it? It's the fact that the environment may activate or not your genes. And the environment, this is not only air, water, food, but it's also the family, the community environment, and all what is around you. So it's better because it means that the interaction between this environment and the genes may bring you some positive effect. And depending if you have some genes or not, but the environment is very important. So we are working, and for scientists, blue zones are very interesting because the environment is the same. So you may easily find, more easily at least, the real epigenetic trait. So this is something. Lifestyle. And the lifestyle should be, you should be very live simply. And don't put money on the top of the agenda. That's very important. Look, these shoes. Look, this cup of tea. This is very simple thing. I have some other. Look. Is it similar to the one you have at home, this kitchen? Okay. That's wonderful, huh? Okay. And look, the house of Antonio. I just mentioned that the sofa is not a soft one. It's just a piece of wood. Okay. And look, the roof, it's very simple. But what is important is that the daughter is living nearby. That's very important. This is in Costa Rica. Look, Panchita. Panchita is a very nice girl. She died at 105, 106, I don't remember exactly, in Costa Rica. Look, she's preparing food. She's 100 there, preparing at home, living alone, and so on. Food is very important. This is the basic food from Costa Rica. Banana and this special breakfast there on the left. This is very important. The food is very important, but it should be locally grown food. That's very important. Eat what is produced where you are living. That's clear. And don't go too much to the processed food. In Sardinia, on the table, 90% of what is on the table come from the village. Ham, cheese, wine, olive, tomato, bread, everything is coming from the village. This is essential. I told you that to be centenarian, it takes 1 century. Can you imagine that the centenarian in Guernsey eat banana, kiwi all along their life? No, it's not true. In the north of Europe, they eat during all their life carrots, cabbage, and potato. Nothing else, and they reach 100. Okay? So be attentive to this. That's very important. Look, in all of the blue zone, they mentioned something that is very essential to live longer. The Goya in Okinawa, the red pepper, this is from Korea. In Sardinia, this is the Culus Jones. You have always something, and they are very proud of this food, but it's not the reason why they live longer, okay? That's very important. You have to think about your physical activity. The way you are acting every day, moving and so on. Not doing jogging and fitness and so on, no. This guy is 95. He came from the forest with some wood. I was a bit worried that he will fall from the donkey, but he succeeds. Okay, 95, okay? Look, these are the ants of somebody in Cuba who was rolling cigar during 80 years. Look, these ants. 80 years of rolling cigar there. Look, this cowboy. This cowboy is 92. I have to wake up at 4 in the morning to go and take this photography. Yes, can you imagine? And he used a lasso like this. Wow, it's 92 and still alive today. And Johan was biking at 108 in the village. This is the one who signed this autograph. You see his signature is there on the right. 108 still biking in the village. Okay, wonderful person. So being active, being moved and so on, that's very important. Also believe in God. That's very important. In most of the case, they say, I am a believer, and that's very important. Look what I found there. This is a cross on the body of somebody in Costa Rica. It's very significant. Huh? And I think, I believe really that it's a very strong component of living longer. And in Ikaria, it's a bit strange, because this is the only island that is still communist in the world. And they mix the mark of the communist and the cross. You see, it's very crazy. And look how the pinup is going with the Last Supper. You do everything there. No. Okay. And the family links are very important. Look, this, I would like, you will appreciate the following. Look. This is a wonderful kiss. Huh? You see, when you have this, it's wonderful. But all those things are acting together. And so what about Guernsey? Is it a blue zone? At least you have a precursor. This Margaret Ann Nave was the first woman on Earth who reached 110. And that's why I came 6 weeks ago to validate her age. You have the birth record down there, okay? But I'm still working on the data, and I was in the royal court yesterday, and I found 165 centenarians who died in Guernsey during the last 40 years. But I'm not yet sure that this is a blue zone. I have to check this. But what is possible is to become a blue zone community tomorrow in Guernsey, and this is a big challenge because there is a lot of cities in the US, in the UK, that try to adopt the secret of longevity that are found in the blue zone. And what is important is not to act directly on people, but to make the environment healthier so that everybody will have will do easily a choice of healthy life, and that's very important. And so, therefore, you have to involve a lot of people. The people that are the normal citizen, the school, the employers, and so all should work together so that it will nudge people towards healthier way to live in the future. That's very important. Look what I found in the Healthy Life report of Guernsey. 52% of the population of Guernsey is considered to be overweight or obese. It's too much. There is something to do. Some are drinking a bit too much also, and some are smoking. You have only 30% of the population that avoid these 3 points. So there is something to do. The future is very important. Look, the reason they mention why they don't eat the healthy food is because they are too expensive, so there is something to do. Or why they don't move enough, it's because they need some leisure time, there is a lack of money, so this is something important. And the involvement in the society, look, these are the proportion of people in Guernsey that are involved in the society. You see, the more important is 1/4 are in sport, 1/8 are involved in the church, but you see that the other one are very, very low. That's very important, and to be involved in the society. So why not doing Jersey a blue Jersey? This is very important. You can transform the society in Jersey and to make it healthier. You, not me. I'm outside of the system. Okay. Usually I say we, but I say you. Okay. Oh, I am a bit too far. I will say like Obama. Yes, you can. And why not starting today? This is very important. Look, this girl, she is looking the sea in the ocean, in the Asian Sea. And that's very important for our future generation. Thank you very much.